What's new? You're searching for a luxurious electric SUV, have quite a few options these days, and Audi is gearing up to add yet another to the list. The 2025 Q6 e-tron. Slotting between the Q4 e-tron and Q8 e-tron, it aims to be a solution for those who find the former a bit too small and the latter a bit too big. Although initially offered only with a dual-motor, all-wheel drive powertrain, a single-motor version will join the lineup later as an entry electric vehicle model. For now, the dual-motor version will serve drivers well, with 456 horsepower and an estimated driving range of over 300 miles per charge. The interior is high-tech and handsomely styled, with a curved display screen on the dashboard and sustainable materials used in the upholstery. For something a little more stylish, the Q6 e-tron Sportback offers much the same experience, but with a fastback body style. A performance-oriented SQ6 e-tron is also offered, but we electric vehicles use that model separately. When it hits the market near the end of 2024, it'll rival other electric vehicles SUVs such as the Cadillac Lyriq, the Genesis electrified GV70, and the Lexus RZ. Like other Audi SUVs, the Q6 e-tron sports a contemporary cabin that is loaded with display screens and convenience features. While the look is undoubtedly modern, we suspect some users may be overwhelmed by the amount of digital real estate. Those folks are still sure to appreciate the attractive materials used throughout the interior, some of which are made from sustainable materials. Although the Q6 e-tron is close in size to the gas-powered Q5 SUV, its wheelbase is over 3 inches longer, which results in a more spacious passenger compartment. Cargo space behind the second row isn't as generous here as in some other electric vehicles SUV, but the Audi does offer a small, frunk storage compartment under the hood. For now, all Q6 e-tron models come with a dual-motor electric powertrain that offers all-wheel drive and 456 horsepower. A rear-wheel drive model with one electric motor is said to be coming later. We've driven a dual-motor prototype Q6 e-tron with an air spring suspension system and found that it offered a calm and controlled ride. The performance-minded SQ6 e-tron ups the ante with 510 horsepower and a sportier suspension tune, so enthusiast drivers will want to look at that model instead. When we get the chance to drive and test a more refined and final production model, we'll be sure to update this space. While we haven't tested this claim yet, Audi predicts the Q6 e-tron can hit 60 miles per hour in just 50 seconds. When we get a chance to drive the Q6 e-tron on our home turf, we'll update this story with test results and more driving impressions. The Q6 e-tron uses an 800-volt architecture and features a 94.4 kWh battery, which Audi says can take charge from 10 to 80% charge in under 30 minutes on a DC fast charging connection. The EPA hasn't released an estimated driving range yet, but we think the most efficient model will be capable of going about 300 miles per charge. The EPA hasn't weighed in on the Q6 e-tron's fuel economy estimates yet, and we haven't had a chance to take it on our 75 miles per hour highway fuel economy test route. When we do, we'll update this story with real-world test results. For more information about the Q6 e-tron's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. The price of the 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron is expected to start around $66,000 and go up to $81,000 depending on the trim and options. Audi hasn't released information on pricing for the Q6 e-tron yet, but we estimate a starting price of around $66,000. We also expect it to follow Audi's normal trim electric vehicle structure, offering Premium, Premium Plus and Prestige versions, each with varying electric vehicles of luxury. When we find out more information about the Q6 e-tron's price and features, we'll update this story with details. The BMW i4 is an electric sedan that skips the hyperbole. Instead, it focuses on blending the brand's rich history of creating refined, fun-to-drive sedans with a modern EV powertrain. The four-door i4 sedan shares some underpinnings and visual cues with the vaunted 3 Series and 4 Series Grand Coupe, but presents its EV status as a bonus, not a consolation prize. We tend to agree, as the i4 easily earned a place on our editor's choice list. What's new? Cape York Green Metallic and Vegas Red Metallic join the exterior color palette. The kidney grille surround is now finished in matte chrome and gets a mild redesign with a fully enclosed upper section sitting atop a high-gloss black and matte silver honeycomb design. The headlamps are reshaped for a thinner look, and the taillamps offer available laser accents. The M Sport package for the i4 includes a front apron with large side air intakes and a high-gloss black diffuser element in the lower section of the rear bumper. New wheel designs include an available 19-inch M Aero color for cars with the optional M Sport package. Interior updates include available new steering wheel designs, brushed aluminum accents, and new grey-blue ash open-pore wood trim. The instrument panel upholstery texture is smoother and now extends to the top of all 4 door panels. The price of the BMW i4 is expected to start around $54,000 and go up to $71,000 depending on the trim and options. Previously, our vote was for the M50 for the added performance it brings with little compromise in ride quality. It would go against our core demographic not to. But after adding the xDrive 40 to our long-term fleet, we've learned just how capable xDrive 40 can be for nearly $10,000 less. The xDrive 40 has all-wheel drive, and even with the 19-inch wheels returns a 279-mile EPA estimated range and 99 mpge. The choice has so far proven successful in our hands, and checking the M50 box on the order sheet is still available for buyers craving the ultimate in i4 performance. The i4 feeds electrons to either 1 or 2 electric motors, depending on the model. The eDrive 35 utilizes a single 282 horsepower motor and rear-wheel drive. The eDrive 40 shares the same single-motor rear drive layout, but ups the output to 335 horsepower. The all-wheel drive i4 xDrive 40 model steps up performance with a pair of motors producing a combined output of 396 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. The M50 tops the lineup, its dual-motor all-wheel drive powertrain rated for 536 horsepower and 586 pound-feet. It delivers the immediate and forceful thrust worthy of its M badge, and its lower center of gravity helps it move assuredly, despite weighting more than an M3. The rear drive i4 models roll on a standard set of 18-inch rims, while 19 inches are optional. Conversely, the all-wheel drive M50 is fitted with either 19s or 20s, and it has adaptive dampers and a variable ratio steering system. When the first M2 was released, many people said it wasn't a real M car since it didn't have a real M engine. It featured an N55 engine instead of the S55 used in the M3 and M4. But that changed with the M2 competition and CS, which are now among the best sports cars in their class. They shared engine and mechanical components from the bigger M3 and M4 siblings. It was such a success that BMW brought the M2 back for the second generation, and it is more potent than ever. The second gen was shown in 2022 and was fitted with a powerful 58 engine and shared the same mechanical underpinnings as the M3 and M4. This new BMW M2 has become an even more serious sports car that punches way above its weight. But it doesn't get the xDrive all-wheel drive system like its bigger brothers. But BMW has decided to take this further and introduce a CS model just like the previous generation, and here's what we know so far. The new G87 M2 is now much faster, but is also significantly heavier than the previous car at 3,850 pounds. It is more than 200 pounds heavier than the previous M2, M3 and M4. This is because it gets the full interior and technology features just like other M cars. The previous M2 saved costs in many parts, which resulted in less weight overall, but gained a bit more weight with the competition when some of the proper M parts were put back in. Because the M2 now sits on an M4 platform, guess where the interior comes from. So far as showing off to your mates goes, the new M2 feels more spacious and far better trimmed inside than before. Overall, this feels like an expensive place to sit, stuffed with equipment. More spacious than the old M2 as well, as you'd hope from the wheelbase swelling. Atop the dashboard lies the now familiar 14.9-inch curved display, with its annoyingly unintelligible dials and fiddly menus. And now the heater controls live in the screen. It's more irritatingly and less safe to use on the move than the old M2. The new one feels more opulent, but it's come at the expense of common sense and user-friendliness, which rivals like the Porsche Cayman and Toyota GR Supra with its, ironically BMW-based interior. As usual for a modern M car, you can avoid delving into the furiously complex screen too often by taking the time to set up your favorite M1 and M2 modes while stationary and armed with the instruction manual. These are then saved and accessible via the little red cat's tongue levers on the steering wheel. As an optional extra, you can spec the carbon fiber seats from the M4, complete with the silly thigh gutter, spoiling your attempts to left foot brake and causing passengers to judge your lifestyle choices. The stock response is, actually they're phenomenally supportive and surprisingly comfortable long distance. Having now sampled both styles of seat, we'd recommend saving a four-figure sum and sticking with the standard seats, which are easier to dismount, plenty supportive enough, and very comfortable to boot. Seat heating could be a bit more powerful, mind you. And the illuminated M badges in the headrests are, as always, disgusting. The current M2 started strong with as much power as the previous Gen M3 CS, which made 453 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. The new M2 already makes the same power, but with a little less torque. Now, there are speculations that the new M2 CS could make over 500 horsepower, which should be a close figure. The previous F87 M2 CS made the same power as the M3 competition, but less than the M3 CS, and we expect the same number here. Realistically, the new M2 CS could make as much power as the current M3 competition at 580 horsepower and much more power than any previous M3 and M4. This should be more than enough power for a car of its class, as the base M2 is already a very fast vehicle. BMW's xDrive system is not available for the M2, and this should remain the same for the CS just like the previous generation. Power is not the only change expected. Suspension parts, brakes and tires are likely to be improved as well. The suspension setup will be stiffened to help the car handle better and control the added performance gains. While M Performance brakes are already available, most people might opt for carbon ceramic brakes for better stopping power. Finally, it should get stickier rubber, most likely Michelin Cup 2 or Cup 2R tires for better grip. There is no denying that the BMW M2 will offer immense power and performance, but it comes at a hefty price tag. The previous M2 CS was already a very expensive car with a starting price of $85,000, and well-optioned cars were over $95,000. That is a lot of money, as cars like the Shelby GT500 offered more power and performance than that car. The previous M2 had a base price of $53,000, but the new M2 starts around $64,000. We can safely predict that the new M2 CS will cost over $90,000, and well-optioned ones will cross the $100,000. This is an insane amount for a baby BMW, but this isn't a baby sports car anymore. It is now a serious contender in its space and can easily go toe-to-toe with the top-spec Porsche Caymans, which is the leader in this segment. What's new? BMW has given the 4 Series Gran Coupe the lightest of styling touch-ups for 2025. It now wears slimmer headlamps, a reworked grille with matte chrome accents, a restyled rear bumper with larger exhaust outlets, new exterior paint options, and updated wheel designs. The Gran Coupe's iDrive infotainment system has been updated to improve usability, says BMW, and has a less dense menu structure. Elsewhere inside, a new two-spoke steering wheel replaces last year's three-spoke unit, but opting for the M Sport package swaps it for a new three-spoke wheel with a flat bottom design. Under the hood, both the turbocharged 2-litre 4 in the 430i and the turbocharged 3-litre inline-6 in the M440 have been updated with a new 48-volt hybrid system. The horsepower rating remains at 255 for the 430i, but the M440i's output is boosted 11 horsepower to 386. We haven't tested a 430i Gran Coupe model, but a 2022 M440 I ripped to 60 miles per hour in just 39 seconds at our test track. With slightly extra power for 2025, the M440 I could return a slightly quicker number. When we get a chance to test the 2025 4 Series Gran Coupe, we'll update this story with details. Cabin styling closely resembles that of the 4 Series Coupe and convertible, with a driver-focused dashboard that angles the climate controls and infotainment display slightly toward the left. Materials are top-notch, and the interior looks quite premium, but rival sedans such as the Mercedes-Benz C-Class offer more dramatic interior designs. The rear seat is roomier here than on the two-door 4 Series model, but headroom is snug compared to the more upright 3 Series sedan because of the Gran Coupe's sleeker fastback roofline. The Gran Coupe's trunk offers far more space for luggage, groceries, and other cargo than the two-door models, but we won't know exactly how much more room until we get one in for testing. The price of the 2025 BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe is expected to start around $50,000 and go up to $63,000 depending on the trim and options. The price to upgrade to the more powerful M440i model is a lot, but luckily the base 430i, which we recommend, offers plenty to like. It comes standard with power front seats, a sunroof in-dash navigation, dual-zone automatic climate control, parking sensors, a 14.9-inch infotainment display, and a host of driver assistance features, among other niceties. We'd suggest the premium package too, which adds heated front seats, lumbar support, a heated steering wheel, wireless charging, and ambient interior lighting. Citroën has shared the first images of the revamped C3 Aircross. The model's been suitably electrified and box-ified ahead of going on sale later this year. Though not quite as square as the Citroën Oli on which the design language is based, the C3 Aircross is bold. Citroën prefers to call the redesign tough, muscular, and robust. It's got a revised oval logo containing those famous chevrons on the squared-off front end. There are slim headlights flanking the sleek new grille design too, and the next-gen C3 Aircross gets more length, extending to 439mm up from 415mm. That means it's now capable of being a 7-seater, and fun irrelevant fact that's almost double the capacity of the 4-seater Oli concept. We're also told the C3 Aircross is plenty customizable with its two-tone color palette and clips on the front and three-quarter panel. The introduction of the EC3 Aircross model introduces a 100% electric powertrain to a range already offering petrol and mild hybrid choices. They all share the same smart car platform, so that was a no-brainer. Inside, Citroën says there's plenty of space and tricks for families to make practical use of the space. We're expecting more info later in the year when the thing actually launches. Ford's new mid-size electric Explorer embodies both the automaker's roots and what it strives to become in the future with a clean aerodynamic design and modern features. The only thing wrong with the vehicle is the market where it's launching. Although an electric Explorer will likely sell in Europe, it would more than likely be a huge hit in the US. Just look at the hype the Kia EV9 and EV5 are getting while people are chomping at the bit for a Rivian R1S. The Explorer is already one of Ford's best-selling cars in the United States. Why wouldn't they bring it over, or more realistically make one here? What do you think? Should Ford launch the electric Explorer in the United States too? Maybe with enough interest, Ford will reconsider. The electric variant of the venerable midsize SUV is set to begin production for the European market this summer, and we're expecting it to arrive stateside following its overseas debut. Info is still preliminary, but here's what we know about the 2025 Ford Explorer EV so far. We initially thought that the 2025 Explorer EV would share the same electric motors and battery packs as the Mustang Mach-E, but it will instead ride on a Volkswagen-derived platform. The Euro-spec Explorer EV is offered with a single 168 horsepower electric motor paired with a 55 kilowatt-hour battery, although we don't expect that configuration to make it to the United States. Instead, we expect the base model to feature an 82 kilowatt-hour battery and a 282 horsepower motor. An all-wheel drive dual-motor setup should arrive with the same battery pack and a total output of 335 horsepower. We are still awaiting estimated range figures. Performance, driving range, and battery specifics are yet to be confirmed for the Ford Explorer, which is due to go on sale in the UK later this year. We do know that it will be available with a range of up to 311 miles, will be able to rapid charge from 10 to 80% in 25 minutes, and is likely to be offered with both rear and four-wheel drive variants. On the tech front, the 2025 Explorer EV should come with Ford's latest Sync infotainment system. The automaker is currently offering its vehicles with Sync 4, which could be updated by the time the 2025 model year rolls around, or be replaced by a new infotainment system. Ford's current electric vehicles that come with Sync 4 are available with touchscreens that range from 12 to 15 inches in size. Practicality is a big factor with the 5-seat Explorer. There's a roomy 3-person rear bench with through loading, of course, and a boot with over 400 litres of space. But there's also a big centre storage area up front that's large enough for a laptop. There's also what the company describes as a private locker hidden behind the adjustable 14.6-inch touchscreen. The screen moves mechanically rather than electrically and can be pushed upward or to the side, either to access your locker or maybe just to reduce glare or give slightly better screen access to a passenger. Whatever the reason, it seems a simple and sensible idea, even if having the screen's adjustable mount meant that it couldn't take the physical, rotary volume dial features on the Ford Mustang Mach-E. The Ford Explorer EV will get the company's latest Sync Move infotainment software, which will include Alexa voice recognition, intelligent charger search function, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and over online software updates. There's also a soundbar that sits on top of the dash and has been designed to look like a spaceship that's landed on the dash. But the actual audio, for now, will be supplied by Ford's own speaker systems rather than any third-party companies. Other tech highlights include more advanced autonomous features than we've yet seen on any Ford, including assisted lane change, which will see the car changing lanes for you when you indicate, provided the system is active and it deems the maneuver to be safe. Just like Tesla's automated lane change system, essentially. No official release date for the Explorer EV has been announced thus far. Electrek reports that Ford plans to start building the European model this summer, following an 8-month delay. We expect the Explorer EV to arrive in the US sometime in 2025 based on that timeline. Pricing for the SUV remains a mystery, but a good estimate is that the electric vehicle will start at around $50,000. The Genesis GV80's attention-capturing design makes a statement, even when it's parked. This sophisticated SUV delivers luxury with one extra that its rivals at Porsche and BMW simply don't offer: a marvelously sweet starting price. A 2.5-litre, 304 HP turbocharged four-cylinder is standard, but can only be had with 2 rows of seats. The far more exciting 380 HP twin-turbo V6 enables adding a third row and the ability to hold up to 7 passengers. All GV80 use an 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. The GV80 innards are plush indeed, starting with heated and cooled seats for front and rear passengers, and going as far as heated armrests and a ride that's near silent even at highway speeds. The Genesis GV80 gets updated for new with some meaningful and new equipment. For starters, the twin-turbocharged V6 gains 5 horsepower, now producing 380 ponies and 390 pound-feet of torque. The turbocharged inline-4 returns for 2024 with slightly more, now producing 304 horsepower for base-level GV80. A sportier GV80 Coupe also joins the lineup as a new model year addition, but we review that separately. The GV80 wears a new grille and what the company calls micro-lens array headlamps from the G90 sedan, though their different design does take a moment or two to spot. There are new wheel designs featuring a 20-inch multi-spoke unit and a 22-inch option. Video don't do justice to how rich and elegant the GV80's interior is. Even the lower trims are finished with classy touches like burled wood trim, metal accents, and integrated ambient lighting. The wide-spanning display set into the dash keeps matters upscale, but uncluttered. The front seats are comfortable, supportive, and available with a massage function that feels legitimately relaxing. A standard 3-across bench seat in the second row allows for up to 5 passengers. A third row of seats is an optional feature, but space back there is limited and should be considered a place solely for kids. We fit 13 carry-on suitcases behind the second row, and the GV80 swallowed a total of 28 with the second row folded flat. A slim 27-inch display stretches across the GV80's tailored dashboard. For rear passengers, Genesis also offers a 14-inch rear seat display. Every GV80 also comes with wireless charging, a Wi-Fi hotspot that can accept 5 devices, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and 3 years of complimentary Genesis connected services. The more significant upgrades made for are found in the cabin. Gone are the separate instrument cluster and infotainment displays, and in their place sits a 27-inch OLED display. There is also an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, fingerprint recognition, a digital rear-view mirror, a new center console, and a 3-spoke steering wheel that ditches the ugly 2-spoke design of the old model. A new storage compartment is also found below the HVAC screen. It includes a wireless smartphone charging pad and a UV light that can be turned on to eliminate surface bacteria on your phone. For munching motorway miles, the GV80 is the perfect companion. The seats provide excellent support, and the massage function is a godsend. I was also particularly fond of the heated armrests in the center console, but it's a little frustrating they can only be enabled with the heated seats, meaning you can't enable one without the other. There is even a perfume dispenser. The GV80 is also the first Genesis model in Australia to launch with Hyundai's Highway Driving Assist 2 function. It includes automatic lane changes, allowing you to simply toggle the indicator and the vehicle will move into the next lane. The lane keeping and radar cruise control systems are also superb, and I drove for hours on end along the highway without needing to make any throttle, brake, or steering inputs. The only slight annoyance is the driver attention monitoring system was a little too intrusive for me and would start ringing a chime if I looked anywhere other than straight ahead for more than a couple of seconds. Fortunately, it can be easily disabled. It is also easy to disable the annoying speed limit alarm that rings every time you go 1 km/h over the posted speed limit. Like the front seats, the second row is also extremely comfortable and passengers sitting back there have several creature comforts too. These include heated and ventilated seats, a dedicated temperature control zone, and window shades that can be opened and closed at the touch of a button. The third row is tight and not suitable for adults. However, Genesis has been kind enough to install dedicated climate controls for the rear. It's also nice that the second and third row seats can be folded up or down at the touch of a button. This mid-size luxury crossover has the same underpinnings as the G80 sedan and comes standard with all-wheel drive. The engine choices start with a 304 horsepower turbocharged 2.5-litre four-cylinder and escalate to a 380 horsepower twin-turbo 3.5-litre V6. We've previously hustled a turbo 4 to 60 miles per hour in 6.1 seconds on our test track. The V6 twin-turbo model cut that time to a brisk 5.3 seconds. The latest changes add only a smidge of power to both engines, so we expect virtually no change to the new GV80's performance. Nor do we anticipate any changes to the GV80's impressive ride and handling. Without a doubt, Genesis' efforts to make a large three-row feel athletic in corners are a success. Even at highway cruising speeds across tattered Michigan roadways, it delivers a wonderfully quiet ride. Buyers seeking more thrills could consider a Porsche Cayenne or an Audi SQ8, however. EPA fuel economy estimates for the new four-cylinder GV80 are 19 miles per hour city and 24 miles per hour highway. It loses 1 miles per hour in the city rating compared to the 2024 model, likely due to a mild tweaking that results in a 4 horsepower gain. Going with the V6 reduces those metrics to 16 miles per hour and 22 miles per hour, respectively. Again, the slight drop in fuel economy is countered by minor 5 horsepower increase. We haven't had the chance to put the updated GV80 through our 75 miles per hour highway fuel economy test, but the previous GV80 with the Turbo 4 over-delivered by a touch, returning 25 miles per hour highway. For more information about the GV80's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. The price of the new Genesis GV80 is expected to start around $59,000 and go up to $84,000 depending on the trim and options. All GV80 come bearing plentiful standard features including navigation, a 27-inch infotainment touchscreen, heated front seats, wireless charging, and a power liftgate. There is no poor choice here. We're big fans of the extra power provided by the twin-turbo 3.5-litre V6, which costs approximately $8,000 over the base 2.5 model. We'd also opt for the Prestige trim that upgrades to Napa leather seating, adjustable rear seats with heated and cooled cushions, and 22-inch wheels. What do you do when you want to spice up your incredibly popular high-performance SUV? Add power, of course. That's Lamborghini's solution anyhow. The Italian marque did exactly that with the 2025 Urus SE, joining the Raging Bulls lineup as a powerful plug-in hybrid SUV. There are new 23-inch wheels and more than 100 paint options, with Lambo adding 2 more for 2025, Arancio Egon as orange and Bianco Sapphirus as white. The interior of the Urus gets a redesign as well, notably a larger 12.3-inch screen mounted to the center of the dash, sporting Lamborghini's most recent digital interface. We expect pricing for the SE to be similar to the Performante when it launches, likely starting around $275,000. Lamborghini describes the SE as having 2 hearts, thanks to the new electric powertrain pairing up with a standard combustion block. The SE adds a 189 HP electric motor to the 8-speed automatic transmission. Power from the twin-turbocharged V8 is down slightly from the standard car, making 612 horsepower versus 657 in the non-hybrid. Only time will tell whether the reduction is due to a mechanical limitation with the transmission, or if Lamborghini is holding back for a future higher performance variant. We'd put our money on the latter. In any event, the SE churns out a combined 789 horsepower and 701 pound-feet of torque, thundering from 0 to 62 mph in a claimed 3.4 seconds. That makes the SE 0.1 seconds faster than the standard Urus S, though it loses out to the Urus Performante by the same margin. The SE should be capable of traveling just over 30 miles in electric-only mode, thanks to a battery tucked under the floor that car and driver estimates to be 21.8 kWh. The top speed in EV mode tops out just under 81 mph compared to the vehicle's overall top speed of 194 mph. Changes didn't stop with the electrified powertrain. Lamborghini has sprinkled modest updates throughout the rest of the vehicle. The front end features minor tweaks to the hood that supposedly take after the new Revuelto sports car, while the cargo hatch at the rear has been redesigned to take after the Gallardo. According to Lambo, a new spoiler and a redesigned diffuser improved downforce by 35% over the standard Urus S. Revised aerodynamics under the car also improve cooling to the braking system. If you like what you see, we have good news. Deliveries of the Urus SE will begin before the end of 2024. Without any options, the Urus C will carry a base MSRP of $258,000, excluding taxes or other fees. By comparison, the 2024 Urus S starts in the region of $235,000, around 10 grand more than the regular non-Urus it replaces. Considering the added performance, style and technology on offer with the C, we have no doubt that the Urus plug-in hybrid electric vehicle will pick up right where its pure combustion predecessor has left off as the best-selling vehicle Lambo has ever made. Now that it can claim to outperform all its direct rivals on paper, all that remains to see is what those changes feel like from the driver's seat. Unveiled in Europe, the CX-80 is also available with 3.3-litre inline 6-cylinder diesel and petrol power, both combined with a 48V mild hybrid system. At close to 5 meters long with a wheelbase in excess of 3 meters, the 3-row CX-80 is appreciably longer than its 2-row CX-60 stablemate 4.7 meters long 2.9 meters wheelbase. The CX-80 features 2 second-row configurations. A 2-2-2 setup with a pair of captain seats and broad console in the center for 6-seat capacity, or a more conventional 2-3-2 7-seat arrangement. In both cases, third-row seats fold flat to enhance available cargo space. Mazda Connected Services is on board and accessible through the My Mazda app while, as the name implies, a new trailer hitch view helps with positioning the vehicle while preparing for towing. Suspension is by double wishbones at the front and multilinks at the rear, with the permanent all-wheel drive system biased towards the rear axle for a default rear-wheel drive driving feel. Like the CX-60, the CX-80 is equipped with Mazda Intelligent Drive Select, offering multiple drive modes including a pure EV setting in the PHEV. Crash avoidance safety tech includes active cruise control with a new unresponsive driver support feature, AEB with new head-on collision mitigation, and lane keeping assist with the addition of head-on traffic avoidance assist. For reference, the closely related CX-60 ranges from $6,550 before on-road costs for the entry-grade Evolve petrol to $86,800 for the flagship Azami PHEV. So we're estimating a price spread from the high $60,000 bracket to just over $90,000 for the top spec CX-80. The interior will also feature carefully crafted interiors, which will provide a luxurious and comfortable environment for both the driver and passengers. Also equipped with state-of-the-art safety features and advanced connectivity options, the Mazda CX-80 will offer modern convenience and entertainment along with peace of mind. So all of you, get ready to enhance your driving thrill with the Mazda CX-80. Mazda Motors' entry into the premium segment with its attractive design looks promising, and as such, strong sales of their CX-60 and CX-90 models are boosting the automaker's profit margins. Following these successes, Mazda is set to introduce a 3-row crossover SUV named CX-80 with an all-around design, which will become one of the most preferred SUV once it hits the automotive market. Also, let us tell you this SUV will also include many connectivity features, such as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth connectivity, a navigation system, wireless charging, smartphone integration, voice recognition, Wi-Fi hotspot, USB port, 5G connection, and much more. With all these features, the CX-80 will make your journey even more wonderful. As we have already told you, this Mazda CX-80 will be completely new, so we can expect its interior design will be even better than the current models of Mazda Motor. But nothing much has been said about it yet from the company. But according to some information and research, we can give you some basic information about the design done in its interior. We can expect the Mazda CX-80 to be a large SUV known for its commitment to driver centricity and high-end interior design. The CX-80 will be equipped with an intuitive infotainment system, which may include a touchscreen display with user-friendly controls for navigation, audio, and connectivity features. It will include a well-organized and easy-to-use dashboard, center console controls, and a comfortable driving position. Additionally, you can expect the latest connectivity features including Bluetooth, smartphone integration, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a USB port for charging devices. Additionally, comfortable seating arrangements with adjustable seating and climate control options will often be part of the package. Launched in Europe in March 2023, the Ace X is a two-row, five-seat compact SUV based on the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance CMF-B platform and supplied by Renault. For the new Ace X, the front face has been redesigned to give it a refined and modern look, while connectivity and safety have been expanded to make the vehicle more convenient and safer than ever. The new Ace X will be manufactured at Renault's Valladolid plant in Spain starting in May. The new Ace X's front face has been redesigned to further emphasize Mitsubishi Motors' dynamic shield design identity. The center of the bumper has been entirely blacked out to accentuate the dynamic shield, and three-dimensional satin silver motifs with a sense of depth have been integrated into the grille to create a more dynamic and robust impression. The LED headlights combine an L-shaped form and slits, giving the Ace X an even more sophisticated and modern feel. Furthermore, newly designed 18-inch black alloy wheels, one with diamond-cut finish, are available for a sporty, powerful look. The Ace X's cabin is newly equipped with a smartphone-linked display audio with a 10.4-inch display. It is also the first Mitsubishi model with Google built in. This provides drivers with access to Google Assistant for making phone calls, sending texts, playing music, setting reminders, and controlling the temperature, all using voice commands. Google Maps for navigation and real-time traffic information, and Google Play for downloading apps such as music and podcast apps just like a smartphone. The new Ace X comes in a full hybrid model, a mild hybrid model, and a gasoline model. The hybrid model brings together a 1.6-liter gasoline engine, two electric motors, an alternator starter, and a main motor, an automatic, multi-mode gearbox, and a 1.2 kWh battery. There is also a new eSave mode for driving, while saving the battery's charge for later use. By keeping the charge level at 40% or above, power can be saved for EV driving, or when it is necessary to assist the engine with the motor, such as when driving uphill. The mild hybrid model combines a 1.3-liter direct injection turbo with a 6-speed manual transmission, or a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and the gasoline model is available with a 1-liter turbocharged gasoline engine and a 6-speed manual transmission. Fun fact: the Toyota Camry is not an all-new car. Despite looking new, the car you see before you is essentially a very heavy refresh of the previous generation Camry. But Toyota has made some bold calls with the new Camry, the most important of which is that the brand's stalwart sedan is now hybrid only. The old 4-cylinder and V6 are gone, and what's left is an all-new generation of Toyota's hybrid system. So we got behind the wheel to find out if this was a stroke of genius or the Camry's death knell. The previous Camry Hybrid wasn't exactly a class leader. If anything, it was a nice, honest offshoot from the Camry's appliance car roots and little more. Expectations, therefore, weren't exactly sky high. But after the first 10 yards, it became clear it was wrong of us to give this particular car such a low glass ceiling. The changes Toyota has made flip the Camry's persona from uninspiring and dry into something genuinely worth driving and, dare we say it, fun. The hybrid system is the 5th generation of the powertrain that can trace its roots back to 2006. It takes a 2.5-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and pairs it with 2 electric motors, one for propulsion and one for energy recuperation. All-wheel drive models add a third e-motor to the back axle. There is no drive shaft between the front and rear ends, but more on that in a moment. Front-wheel drive Camrys now make 225 horsepower, while all-wheel drive models make 232 HP. Some of the other under-the-skin changes Toyota made include revised suspension dampers, new brake tuning, and a thicker rear stabilizer bar, all done as part of making the Camry more enjoyable to drive. Toyota has released EPI estimates for every new Camry model in both front and all-wheel drive configurations. The most efficient Camry you can buy is the new base LE trim with front-wheel drive. Thanks to smaller 16-inch wheels and low rolling resistance tires, it gets an EP estimated 51 mpg combined 53 city 50 highway. The least efficient Camry is the XSE with AUD. The biggest wheels you can get and tires that are ever so slightly stickier mean you can expect 44 mpg combined 44 city 43 highway. These numbers are about the same as what the last Camry Hybrid achieved, but Toyota would be quick to point out that it achieved the same efficiency while adding a heap of both power and torque. Our first impression of the new Camry was a fully loaded XSE trim with front-wheel drive. The changes, though evolutionary, made a big difference. Despite being on relatively big 19-inch wheels, our test Camry rode over ruts, lumps and bumps with smoothness and crispness that didn't exist in the previous car. It now feels as though the suspension deals with road imperfections in one stroke as opposed to jittering away for a while as it regains composure. It's comfortable too. Impacts aren't felt so much as just heard, and they disappear as quickly as they came. We were able to bring our XSE test car to the test track. Here, it accelerated from 0 to 60 mph in 7.8 seconds. That's slower than the 7-second sprint to 60 we recorded from the hybrid version of the Accord, but a bit quicker than the last Hyundai Sonata we tested 8.3 seconds. Those who are looking for something with a little more pep in its step should consider the all-wheel drive model. All-wheel drive is available on every Camry trim from base LE all the way to the top trim XSE, and it makes a significant difference in seat-of-your-pants performance. Even though we haven't strapped our testing gear to an all-wheel drive model, it definitely feels quicker than the 232 horsepower Toyota says it makes. Inside, there's a very familiar feel to this car. There's a new steering wheel and a bigger and more prominent-looking infotainment screen. Cabin material quality is pretty much the same, which is to say durable but unremarkable. Toyota does trim top-spec models in a soft vegan leather it calls Softex. It's also on the doors and parts of the dash in XSE trim. Other variants get a neat cloth design on the dashboard that helps break up the massive horizontal span of black plastic that links the screen and the rightmost air vent. The rest of the cabin is classic Camry too. The controls are easy to reach and have a quality, almost Lexus-like feel to them. Pricing for the new Camry has been set, and believe it or not, the base LE Hybrid is actually $455 cheaper than it was for 2024. The range starts at $29,495 and goes all the way up to $37,220 for a top trim XSE with all-wheel drive. Options can push the car to a touch over $40,000, right on par with the current top-spec Honda Accord. For some, that might be too much to stomach, but not to worry. The inherent goodness of this generation can be found in every trim. If you don't need every creature comfort, the base LE is a great value, a bargain even. You don't need to spend the biggest money to get the best powertrain or the best car. They're all just that darn good this time around. New look exterior and interior. How does the Camry drive? We tested the Camry XSE with front-wheel drive. Acceleration is smooth and easy during everyday driving, and there's enough power on tap to get you moving when you need it. At our test, Camry sprinted from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7.8 seconds, which is slightly quicker than the hybrid versions of the Honda Accord and Hyundai Sonata. The brakes are strong and smooth. We are also impressed with the Camry's responsive steering and stable handling. Granted, we tested an XSE, which has a sport-tuned suspension, but overall you can expect the Camry to be secure when driving around corners. How comfortable is the Camry? The front seats in the Camry are a bit too firm for our liking. However, they do a great job of supporting your back on long trips and are generally very comfortable once you settle in on a long trip. The climate control system works very well with strong fan speed and a great auto setting. Toyota dialed in the ride comfort just right on this new Camry. It doesn't feel floaty or disconnected from the road, but it soaks up bumps and dips without issue. The Camry stays nice and quiet in the cabin, even at highway speeds. The only major noise intrusion comes from the engine, which is gritty and unpleasant to listen to when you mash the gas. How's the interior? There's an immediate feeling that the Camry's interior took a few steps up with this new generation. Underneath the large touchscreen is a row of easy-to-use physical switches and knobs to control the car's climate system. The steering wheel buttons are a bit confusing at first, but ultimately make sense after time. Compared to some other mid-size sedans, the Camry's driving position is pretty upright, almost too much so. This gives a more high-riding feeling with a great view over the hood and directly behind. Passenger space is solid in both rows, and the car's flat roofline means that headroom is good for everyone. How's the storage? While the Camry has less cargo space in the trunk compared to the Sonata and Accord by the numbers, its 15 cubic feet is enough to handle a few large suitcases or a sizable grocery run. Small item storage is fantastic in the Camry. There are a few different locations to store your phone. The door pockets can take on large water bottles, and the bin next to the wireless charging pad works great for keys. No more Camry Hybrid, but they're all hybrids. A source of confusion for 2025 might be the discontinuation of the Camry Hybrid, at least as a model name. But in actuality, Toyota has made every Camry a hybrid, so there's no reason for differentiation anymore. The Camry comes standard with a 4-cylinder engine paired to the Toyota's latest hybrid system. The combination puts out 225 horsepower in front-wheel drive models, representing a 17 horsepower's improvement over the last generation Camry Hybrid and a 22 horsepower's bump over the outgoing non-hybrid 4-cylinder. The Camry is also now available with an optional all-wheel drive system that adds another electric motor to the rear and bumps power up to 232 horses. This powertrain change for 2025 does mean the previously available V6 engine is no longer available, however. How's the fuel economy? Toyota says that a Camry can get 44 to 51 miles per gallon in combined city highway driving, depending on the car's configuration and trim. That makes the Camry one of the most efficient cars you can buy that's not a plug-in hybrid or full electric. On our standardized evaluation route, we observed 45.9 miles per gallon from our front-wheel drive XSE test car, which is just a bit less than Toyota's 47 miles per gallon estimate and better than what we got from a hybrid Accord. Fun may not be the first thing that comes to mind when driving the Camry, but it's more than competent on a twisty road, and there is now finally enough power to make a pass on the highway. From a design perspective, the new Camry is spicier than before. For a car that has never had much personality, Toyota is finally letting the Camry shine a bit. The 2025 Toyota Camry will make its way to the general public in 2024. Pricing is still a ways away, but for some context, the current Camry hybrid ranges from a hair under $30,000 to a bit over $35,000. Given the flashy kit crammed into the new one, we'd expect prices to rise a smidge, but stay affordable overall. It might not be the most exciting choice, but the Toyota Camry Hybrid is popular for its affordability, spaciousness, and efficiency. For 2025, the family sedan gets a fresh look and bolsters its thrifty credibility by switching its once broad powertrain lineup, which just last year included a V6 as well as both hybrid and non-hybrid 4-cylinders to include only 2 hybrid options. The Camry enters its 9th generation with the 2025 model year, complete with a styling overhaul, a redesigned cabin, and a revised set of exclusively hybrid powertrains. A duo of hybrid powertrains is available on the 2025 Camry Hybrid, one powering the front wheels and one driving all 4. Front-wheel drive models get a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder and 2 electric motors that combine for 225 horsepower, while all-wheel drive ones add a third motor that drives the rear axle and increases combined output to 232 ponies. A continuously variable automatic transmission is standard with both setups. These powertrains are similar to what's found in the Toyota Prius, just with a 2.5-litre gas engine in place of the Prius 2-litre 4. In our initial test drive, we found the hybrid setup to be responsive around town thanks to the strong shove from the electric motors. But no version of the 2025 Camry will be nearly as quick as the old V6 model, which we will miss. When we get a chance, we'll take the new Camry to our test track and update this story with test results. The EPA hasn't released fuel economy estimates for the 2025 Camry Hybrid yet, but Toyota estimates the new car will earn combined ratings of between 44 and 51 mpg depending on the trim level and powertrain setup. When we get the chance, we'll take the new Camry on our 75 mph highway fuel economy test route and update this story with its real-world MPG. For more information about the Camry's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. Inside the Camry Hybrid's spacious interior, there's plenty of room for adults to get comfortable in the front and back seats. The dashboard design is highlighted by a large trim piece that stretches from the passenger's side to the infotainment display. Cloth upholstery is standard, as is dual-zone automatic climate control and rear air vents. XLE and XSE models add leather upholstery, heated seats, a heated steering wheel, ambient lighting, acoustic laminated glass, an auto-dimming rear-view mirror, and adjustable rear seat headrests. The standard infotainment display is an 8-inch unit, but the SE offers a larger 12.3-inch unit as an option, and the larger display is standard on the XLE and XSE models. Either way, both screens run Toyota's latest software interface, which we found intuitive and quick. All models come with a digitized gauge display too, but only those top 2 trims get the larger 12.3-inch fully digital version. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard across the board and work wirelessly on all trims. A 9-speaker JBL stereo system is an optional upgrade available only on the XLE and XSE trims. The price of the 2025 Toyota Camry starts at $29,495 and goes up to $35,695 depending on the trim and options. The Camry's starting price is a bit higher than before because of the new hybrid-only lineup, but the base LE is cheaper than the previous generation hybrid. Of the 4 models that Toyota will offer at launch, the LE has the highest fuel economy estimates due to its smaller wheels. It has a firmer suspension setup and more standard features, and it offers many of the most desirable add-ons such as the larger infotainment screen and the more powerful all-wheel drive powertrain as optional extras.